Welcome back to the program and welcome to our panel today. Coalition MP Jane Prentice joins us in Brisbane and Labor MP Steve Georganas is in Adelaide. Good afternoon to both of you today.
Good afternoon.
Hi, David.
I want to start with you, Steve Georganas. We heard this statement put out by the owner of this restaurant, adamant that he takes full responsibility for this menu and that it was not distributed. Do you believe him?
Well, look, I don't think he said it wasn't distributed. He was unaware if it was or wasn't. What I know is that yesterday, Mal Brough came out and said this was an authentic piece of paper with this menu on it, and then apologised for it. 12 to 24 hours later, he's come out saying that it didn't get distributed. Now, I think there's some questions to be asked. Number one, why did he apologise for it, and why did he say it was authentic when he was asked yesterday if it had been distributed? And then today he's apologising for it. I think, of course, David, as we heard, saw it on Facebook on the Chief Chef's Facebook page, which means that thousands of people saw that and would have been offended by it. The other question that has to be answered as well is why did Mal Brough apologise yesterday, and why did he say it was authentic? And then 12 hours later he comes out and then today to say that it's not authentic. This is not acceptable language. This is a common trend that we've seen. We've seen the Prime Minister being verbaled and the opposition leader sitting in front of signs that were absolutely derogatory, that no Prime Minister of any political persuasion, of any political colour should have to go through.
Jane Prentice, Mal Brough said that the reason that he apologised for it yesterday was that he was unsure about what had happened on that night 3 months ago when he was asked about it by a journalist, and it was presented to him at the time as a fait accompli. Does he have more questions to answer?
No, he doesn't. He apologised immediately because he knew it was something that was inappropriate. He said he'd check into it, which is what he did. In the meantime, Joey Richards has come out and said, look, Mal didn't know anything about it, Joe Hockey knew nothing about it. This was a behind-the-scenes thing. It never went out, and I take responsibility. And I think it's a disgrace that the Treasurer of this country has called a senior Brisbane businessman a liar on national television, because that's basically what he did.
Well, on the broader issue of gender, which was raised first by the Prime Minister a couple of days ago before all of this broke, Steve Georganas, are you comfortable with this attack from the Prime Minister, and particularly raising the issue of abortion in an election context?
Look, I'm not a spokesman for women. Let's get that straight, and nor do I want to be. But I think I am comfortable with it because the opposition leader, Mr Abbott, has a track record. He has a track record of over 30 years of what his views are. So I think when you're running for the Prime Ministership of this nation and you have a track record like Mr Abbott has on this particular topic, then I think the Prime Minister has every right to raise it, and she did so the other day, and rightfully so. I think people need to know what their future leaders or what their future Prime Minister, if that is to be the case at some stage, what they believe in, what they stand for. And as I said, there's a track record of comments. There is an absolute track record of 30 years in newspaper articles, in speeches in Parliament of what his views are.
Well, this morning, Tony Abbott was pretty clear when he said he has no plans whatsoever to change federal abortion laws. Jane Prentice, a response to what we heard there?
Look, I am fed up with Labor verballing Tony Abbott and trying to dredge this stuff up. It is an absolute disgrace. The problem is they're trying to distract from the real issues where they've failed this country, they're failing the economy, they're failing business, and instead of tackling important issues like homelessness and borders, they're trying to verbal Tony. It is just a disgrace.
Our unemployment was down today.
We'll just let Jane Prentice finish and we can come back to you.
Yeah, what about homeless, Steve? You should be concerned about the homeless. You know, you are the ones that promised that you'd do something about homeless, that by July this year to be down by 7%.
And we are.
You spent $1 billion and it's up 17%. Up 17%. You call that tackling the important issues?
We will get to unemployment in just a moment. I just want to stay on this gender issue for a moment and play you an old clip of Arnold Schwarzenegger when he was the governor of California. Of course, we saw the Prime Minister alongside the governator, as he was known a while ago. Let's just get a reminder of some of the language used by Arnie a few years back.
And to those critics who are so pessimistic about our economy, I say, don't be economic girly man.
Economic girly men, Steve Georganas.
Record, has he?
Yeah, can I just
what do you make of that?
Certainly, look, I don't know what the context was, and I wouldn't accept it. And I think, language like that we shouldn't use in today's day and age. But can I just say, when you say that Mr. Abbott will not change the laws on this particular topic, can I say that these laws are usually governed by state governments, state legislations. But what Mr. Tony Abbott has, he has a key. He has the key to health services, and we saw him when he was minister block all the way when it came to these issues, block women all the way when it came to these issues. And then just going back to Arnie, what we've seen in Arnie is someone that has accepted, for a Conservative, the emissions trading scheme in California, an economy that is far bigger, far greater than ours, and someone unlike Mr. Abbott who is stringent in his way and just will not accept that we have to do something on climate change.
Jane Prentice.
Look, I'm sorry, this is just another circus and a sideshow from the real issues. The bottom line is that this government is failing the economy in Australia, and their tactic is every time to play the man, to attack Tony Abbott. Tony is being consistent. He keeps his promises, unlike the Prime Minister that we have today.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see before. Did you have a prop that you're holding up regarding Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yes, I was back in California at the time he was running for governor, so I have his mantra here. And there's some great ones. There's one here that says that families should be spending the money, not government, and that government needs to get out of the way of business. So I support those. It supports our plan, quite similar.
OK, well, on unemployment, we saw, depending on the way you look at these figures, the unemployment rate either remains steady or ease off slightly. The bottom line is the unemployment rate is 5.5%. Jane Prentice, you've got to admit that is historically low and comparatively low when you look at the rest of the world, particularly developed nations.
And when you look in the detail, the bottom line is that full-time employment's actually gone down and part-time employment's gone up. And I think that's symptomatic of the uncertainty in the business community today. And I've been door knocking my businesses around Ryan. In the small business sector alone in the last 5 years, we have lost 250,000 jobs. And you only have to go into the local shop and you see that mum and dad have come out of retirement to support their son or daughter. The kids are working in the shop after school if they can. And if the family need to do something, they just close the shop. So I think it's a very sad state, and that we really need to help small business who are really suffering at the moment.
Steve Georganas, a lot of this more positive figure for unemployment than what we were expecting is being put down to a 0.1% fall in the participation rate, which may indicate that people have actually given up looking for jobs. Is that something that we should be considering, particularly in the frame that only just over 1,000 jobs were created in the last month?
There may have only been 1,000 jobs in the last month, but the figures today clearly show that unemployment is down, even though it's only slightly down. But what has caused our low unemployment is the 950,000 jobs that have been created since Labor has been in government. And again, we hear Jane and the opposition talk about doom and gloom. They're constantly talking down the economy, constantly wanting to have a go at one of the best growing economies in the world at the moment. We're now the 8th largest economy in the world, and the envy of other industrialised countries. You look at Germany, you look at the UK and other nations in Europe, the US, they would give their right arms to be in our position. So today is a good sign, it is a good message, and it is good news that our unemployment has dropped slightly and is one of the lowest unemployment rates in the Western world. And I'm very proud of our legacy, especially of the 950,000 jobs that have been created since we came to government. And only today we heard the opposition talking about taking away assistance to the automotive industry, which would be devastating in my state. And we heard GMH CEO come out and say if that happens, GMH in South Australia and Victoria would close down. In my state alone, that would cost 30,000 jobs. So a vote for Tony Abbott is a vote to close down General Motors Holden in South Australia, and that would be devastating here in our state.
Jane Prentice, a response to those claims that were reported this morning in the Adelaide Advertiser.
Well, what Mike Devereaux said, who's the head of Holden, is that what their industry needs is certainty going forward, and they need to be more competitive.
And he said it would shut down their industry if assistance was taken away.
things like shutting down the carbon tax will be helping their industry. Now, Abbott has said quite clearly that we will continue the $1 billion over the next 3 years, which we give towards assisting the industry. Government should be about enabling companies to get on with the job, and we can do that by cutting out the carbon tax, by freeing up business to get on with the job. This government has introduced over 22,000 regulations in the last 6 years. I mean, it is outrageous. No wonder business is struggling to be competitive. We need to get in there and free up the red tape and let businesses get on with doing what they do best.
But as Steve Georganas was pointing out there, Mike Devereaux did say that any reduction in taxpayer support means his company will shut Australian factories. And the Coalition has said that it would cut support by $500 million in 2015. So, as Steve alleged, is a vote for Tony Abbott a vote to shut down car plants in South Australia?
No, it's not, because Tony is going to bring in policies to support business, such as abolishing the carbon tax, which will help them enormously with productivity, with reducing their costs. The problem we have in Australia at the moment is the costs of doing business have skyrocketed under Labor, and what businesses need us to do is to get out of the way, to make them more competitive and to help them get on with the job and employ people.
Okay. Jane Prentice, Steve Georganas, we are out of time. I'm sorry to cut you off, Steve, but that is it for the program. I just want to flag an event. The Chief of Army will be speaking to the media shortly. We'll go to that as it happens. Thanks very much for your company on Lunchtime Agenda. I'm David Lipson.
I'm looking for a provider who gives me everything I need to trade Forex in one place.
I want customizable charts developed for Forex traders, transparent prices and a stable platform.
I want a provider that presents me with Forex trading opportunities 24 hours a day.
That's why I trade Forex with IG, Australia's #1 Forex provider.
Over the next 2 decades, the CSG industry wants to invest over $9 billion in New South Wales alone. With the state's budget under increasing pressure, CSG can provide much-needed job security and economic investment. A CSG industry in New South Wales will create 20,000 jobs over the next 10 years. These are the facts. Natural coal seam gas. It's cleaner, it's safer, it's jobs. It is the future.
Authorised D by Zapier Canberra.
Audi Quattro Drive end of financial year sale is now on. With free CTP insurance, free registration, free stamp duty, and free metallic paint. It all adds up to gripping value on a wide range of Audi Quattro all-wheel drive models. Plus, take advantage of an exceptional finance offer on A4 Quattro models. Hurry, Audi Quattro Drive must end June 30. Visit your Audi dealer or audi.com.au today.
I'm not a morning person. There's a bit to do. Do my buttons, do my shoelaces.
And your hair.
Mum says breakfast is important and that oats fill my tummy. Quick sachets are the same as Uncle Toby's oats. Just cut up smaller so they cook faster. Done in 90 seconds.
Which means we can get you to school on.
We take you live to Canberra now and a news conference at Defence Force headquarters with the Chief of Army, Lieutenant General David Morrison.
The Australian Army alleged to have occurred in and since 2010. The matters under investigation are serious and appear to centre on the production and distribution of highly inappropriate material demeaning women across both the defence, computer systems and the public internet. As a result of information I have received from ADFIS in April of this year, 3 Army personnel were suspended from duty for alleged breaches of the Defence Force Discipline Act and their